Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to welcome Assam, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be with you this morning. We will try to make it a good session. The purpose of this session is to add some knowledge about the autonomous vehicles and the future of the autonomous vehicles. But I would start with like one statement. You either reduce the price or make everyone rich. What I'm trying to say, I started with the challenge about the autonomous vehicles. We all know that in technology, something happened like 10 years ago, and since that time until now, we are unable to absorb the development of the technology and its impact on all industries, and in particular the car manufacturer. So if you are not there at the right point, there is no time for the people who are waiting. It will mean that you will disappear at a certain point of time. What if we don't pay attention to the change? What if we don't make ourselves prepared and ready for the change? What might happen? So I will give like a couple of examples, and from the examples you will guess why the car manufacturers are so focused these days on this topic. And also moving up to the governments and down to the industry, I talk about our insurance industry, and to people. Why people, they thought of bringing the smartphone, and what happened since then? Was the purpose to kill, for example, Nokia, or to kill the traditional device? No, that was a consequence. The purpose was to enhance the product and to always move into a better value proposition. The only constant in life is the change. So this is why if the company at the individual level, at the company level, if they don't keep changing towards, of course, a better position, what will happen with them is exactly what happened with the Kodak. You remember this brand, and you remember the videotape, the JVC, and the big one and the small one. Do you remember the CD, the flash memory, the USB? These things will disappear when a better version, a better solution is in place. So trust me, I don't know when, but at one point of time, we will see only autonomous vehicles on the road. What road? I don't know, because a lot of things to be explained during this session. My session will be mainly about some highlights about the autonomous vehicles. Then I will talk about the goals and the future of autonomous vehicles, about the different and the 5 levels of the development of the autonomous vehicles, starting from the manually driven car into the ultimate full dependency on automation. And I will conclude with the impact on motor insurance, with the impact on insurance in general. So this is the main topic for us people working in the insurance industry. What does it mean in terms of insurance? To start thinking, the slides could be covered in like few minutes. So this is why it's important I take you quickly through a technical. It might be like a bit boring for some of you, but I am confident the audience today, they are fully dedicated and they are fully engaged in the day-to-day business. So pricing in motor insurance is mainly based on 4 elements. What are those 4 elements to price for a motor policy? Aside from the unusual market condition when pricing is driven by what the competitors are offering. So this is not pricing. This is just like aggressive competition. This is a price war, but it's not a technical pricing. Pricing is linked to 4 variables. Variable number 1 is the frequency of accidents. Variable number 2, and with the frequency of accidents, there are many factors impacting the frequency of accidents. Today, I will not go in depth and tell you about it's about the vehicle, it's about the person driving the vehicle, it's about the geographical area. No, I will talk only at a high level about the frequency of accidents, about the severity of accidents. We all know it as like average claim cost, but the components to the average claim cost, you start talking about the bodily injury factor, which is more and more creating a concern to the insurance companies for a simple reason, because it's unpredictable. Insurance and uncertainty, they don't work together for the CEO of the company. I remember one of my CEOs used to tell me, Isam, prepare me for whatever things might happen, but I hate surprises. Surprises will mean that I am not in control of my business. Call me one night earlier and tell me we have to pay $1 million tomorrow. It might be easier than paying $100,000 and I'm not aware about it. So frequency of accidents, severity of accidents, and the third element is the volume. Like in insurance, you need to build a portfolio. If you don't have a big portfolio to absorb your losses or to help you to be in control of your premiums and of your risk, that will be a disaster. And the fourth element is the element I talked about it at the beginning, which is the market condition. We cannot also live in an independent box and we say we will only do technical pricing. By the time the market, for example, is running, let's say for third-party insurance at maybe 500 dirhams and my technical price was 700, I cannot be that much technical because I will lose my job and my CEO will tell me, thanks for all your help and thanks for the academic pricing, but I am losing my market share and I'm unable to pay for my expenses. So this is why I link that element with the cost of operation, because sometimes you decide to take a business to absorb the fixed cost. The fixed cost is the enemy of the technical people, because irrespective of your portfolio size, you need to pay that much of money in order to keep going. So with all of those factors, keep them in your mind when we start talking about autonomous vehicles. Think about the cost of repair, think about the impact on the frequency, and think about how we can, as insurance experts, be knowledgeable and in control of our business while something new is happening. Something new could be a surprise, if you remember my ex-CEO. So we need to start preparing ourselves for the future. We are a bit late, by the way, but anyway, it's never too late. So as I promised you, what does it mean in terms of autonomous vehicles? I selected 4 points. Point number 1, I keep it always in mind comparing the traditional or conventional vehicles with the autonomous vehicles. So my vision is only in the range of like 90 degrees as a max. But this facility or this technology, it will help me to have 360-degree visibility. Safety on the road. It will help me to reduce the number of accidents, not only because of the 360-degree, but because of the logic, because of the different scenarios, because of the applications, and because of many things which will help me to reduce the number of accidents on the road. Higher traffic efficiency. Today, I started from home at 7:15, but unfortunately, I reached at like 8:30. So many people, they get delayed. They are unable to reach to the airport because I don't know who was driving and he decided I don't know to do what. So the traffic congestion is one of the biggest challenges also. And remember, autonomous vehicles, it means the element of driving eligibility will not be there. You don't need to have a driving license to be there. In terms of the age, in terms of like people who are unable to move easily, they will always have a great solution by being passengers, but at the same time owners and driving in a way or another their journey. So sustainability, I didn't talk about it because I will leave it to the next slides. What is the main goal of autonomous vehicles? Not only of the autonomous vehicles, of any enhanced product. What is the main goal? As insurance experts, when we want to come up with a new product, we think always of the customer in terms of what does it mean for the customer? Does the customer really need that product, that enhancement, that feature? How much is the customer willing to pay? And this is an important point also. I told you, you either reduce the price or you make everyone rich. We started to see recently many of Tesla cars on the road because they became affordable. And if you pay attention also what's happening in the shopping malls, and they are keeping spaces, this is not happening because of a personal effort. This is not happening because maybe someone decided to do something different. This happened because of the global strategy which is coming from the top to the bottom. I remember 3-4 years ago, I was a member of the Future Mobility Club with the Clean Energy Business Council. And at that point of time, we were in discussion with Future Acceleration in Dubai government. This is a unique department. They created it to speed the decisions, to accelerate the process. And they were talking since then, what do we want to do as a government to encourage people instead of buying a standard car, like if I can say a conventional car, no, I better go and buy an electric vehicle. What does it need? So they were talking about too many things, and the too many things didn't help. What helped is when they decided to come up with an affordable price for those cars to be bought by anyone in the market. At that point of time, I was looking around and I was really like happy and surprised at the same time, like the formula of how much the customer is willing to pay. They have made it visible. So I have seen it, and you see it every day on the road. Also, with the smartphone, if you remember, if they didn't make it affordable to everybody, they wouldn't have that much of like sales globally, and they became like, they talk about billions of dollars now. They stopped talking about millions of dollars in terms of like targets and what do they want to achieve every year. So road safety is one of the most interesting things, at least on the society and from sustainability perspective. In the next slide, you will see, and maybe here at the bottom, you can see the severe accidents which create like fatal injuries in the range of like 35,000. In Texas, that was an exercise made, and they found that the human error is responsible on like 90 to 94% of those accidents. And by the way, I can later provide you with the source of my information in terms of reliability. So I made sure that we don't bring any information, but we are confident of the information we are sharing this morning. So what does it mean? It means they did a study also. It will help if 10% of the vehicles on the road in US are autonomous vehicles, they will be saving approximately $25.3 billion each year. Think about the impact on the health care system. Think about because we all know about the direct cost of the claim, but we know very well, especially the insurance experts, and this is why it's an exclusion, the consequential loss. You will tell me, no, the consequential loss is paid. This is like ridiculous. What insurance companies pay, they pay for the loss of use of the vehicle. They tell you, okay, we'll give you a rental car, but nobody will pay because it's not easy to measure the impact of the consequential loss between one person and another. Some people, they might lose a job because of a car accident. Some people, they might lose an opportunity because of a car accident. So the impact is really severe. And during the study also, globally, if we are living in a world that all cars, now we are imagining ourselves there, that all the vehicles, the infrastructure, autonomous vehicles, this will create an annual saving of $800 billion every year. Our problem in Lebanon, we wanted only $100 million so we can solve our problems in Lebanon. Is it billion? Yeah, 100, yeah, whatever. But $800 billion, this is the direct saving from the autonomous vehicle. Sustainability, if we make it simple, it means we are looking for something which will carry on for not only ourselves, for our children, but for the upcoming generation. So this is why when I tell you, if we don't prepare the mindset first of all, and then the resources and the capabilities and the acceptance, we will never be there. If we are not there, what does it mean? If you are not there available at the opportunity, then you have lost the opportunity, but others, they have gained it. So this is what I'm trying to say. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, but maybe I move some of the Gulf countries, but unfortunately, we decide always to be followers. We never experienced the advantage of being a leader. A leader of what? A leader of taking initiatives new initiatives, because this will need not only a decision, this will need a commitment from everyone. So the levels, again, I won't spend long time on this one, but who remembers, like, what was the first, like, technology on vehicles in the past? Like we said, wow, really? Do you remember the remote control when you open the door and you close the door? And that was like maybe 15, 20 years ago. Well, it's not a joke. We were all impressed that I was enjoying the beep also when I'm like on the light. And then a lot of changes happened, but we didn't pay much attention to them. And they impacted, yes, the road safety. Like when you are receiving a message to tell you you should go and send your car for maintenance, flat tire, high temperature. How many of the accidents happen because of mechanical breakdown? So this definitely, when we are pricing, I remember for motor insurance, we always say the older car is not better than the new car, mainly because of two important things: the performance of the vehicle plus the moral risk. Because if the car is new, I will always make sure I maintain the car, I take care of the car, I park the car and I keep looking at it. Even when I reach home, I open the window. And so this is the human nature. We always pay attention to the new things, and this is why the new things will never stop. So this is why I am confident, as everyone here is confident, at one point of time, inshallah, in our lifetime, and we'll be seeing all of the vehicles on the roads are autonomous vehicles, or maybe in level 3 or level 4. Why I wanted to put levels? Because nothing happens just like a press button change. We were talking about the remote control. That was like 20 years ago. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't send all the prophet at one time, because giving a chance to everyone to adapt and to accept the change and to prepare for the future. Everything needs enough time to carry on, and this is why I always say slowly is the fastest way to achieve your goals. What remains is try to put some pros and cons, because every technology, it doesn't mean great news across the board. There are always like victims, there are always disadvantages, but this is life. We always assess and we go ahead with the cost versus benefit formula. So I selected few points as like there is uncertainty sometimes in terms of technology solutions. You are, at the end of the day, depending on systems. What if system breaks? So it means there is a gap, yes. People might lose their jobs. You're talking about the technology and the autonomous vehicles, not only at the individual level, but also at the commercial level, at business level. You will see the metro now. There is no driver in the metro. There is no driver in the bus. There is no driver in like the carriers. So those guys will lose their jobs. But at the end of the day, there are victims. But also we need to think all together how we employ the resources to be more productive in the market and in the society. The initial cost is massive. Think about it, like do we need to come up with new roads, with new infrastructure if we wanted to reach 100% autonomous vehicles? And the quick answer is yes. But from now until then, definitely there is a development. So this is why the change cannot happen immediately, because the cost is extremely high. In Dubai, I remember during the expo time, they dedicated some routes for the autonomous vehicles, and they tried them here, and they didn't run on the road, but they were having their own ways, their own roads. So there is also, if you think about it, sometimes the system is against two unfavorable outcomes. Like if I go left this way, I might hit a car, an expensive car. If I go right, I might hit another expensive car. Then the liability here is also confusing, and there is a dilemma here. And this is a gap also with when we talk about the pros. What about the cons? The road safety for me, reducing the number of victims on the road, reducing the number of accidents. This is a great news, but we will never reach, at the end of the day, zero risk. So this is why calm down insurance, guys. Zero risk, it means there is no need to transfer the risk. There is no need for insurance. We will never reach that level, but we will be reaching a level where people might say, why do I need to insure a comprehensive coverage? It's enough for me, the third party. And third party, it means what? I will save some of the queries and the question marks to the panel discussion. Mu'min is saying, you talked about everything, nothing remains for me. So the societal cost savings, we talked about the $800 billion. If you don't spend them in that side, then you can use them also for other great things. And this is the indirect impact of that one. Impact on insurance. This is the moment of truth for everybody here. With the conventional cars and the autonomous cars, the insured is mainly the driver of the car. In the autonomous vehicles, the car is driven by technology. Then here there is personal liability, but with the autonomous vehicle, it could be manufacturer liability, product liability, but is it zero liability from the driver or the passenger perspective? There is no zero liability, because you give the instruction to start the journey and you give the instruction to end the journey. So there is something you can still play, and there is something you can still do. The cost of repair is the one which is not yet much certain, because technology to be fixed is expensive also. I heard about expensive cost of repair for Tesla cars, but we will always wait and see, because those are facts, and we can only know the facts once they happen. Do we need to change the unified wording? Do you need to add more conditions, less exclusions, more covers? We will talk about it also in the panel discussion. This is it from my side. I didn't want and don't expect I come and tell you about like 100% of what might happen in the future. I don't know these things, and we will always learn from experience. So thank you, and if you have questions, keep them for the panel discussion. I will ask Mr. Sharbini to take the floor to introduce the other panelists, please. Or you want me to do that? It's my pleasure. Thank you.